I mean, hearing you talking about Foguangshan, then also the Haiming Chansi, I can sense this very big contrast between the Pure Land school and the Zen school. The Pure Land school is about a lot of chanting and also a lot of education, a lot of reading. But on the other end, when you meditate, it seems that you just shut yourself up and work on your own mind silently. To you, which school is easier for you to accept?
Yeah, well, the one that's easier for me is Zen, the Chan school of Zen, because it's based on meditation and work. I should say it's based on meditation and your daily life. This is how Zen developed in China, and very few people realize this. But you know, when Bodhidharma came to China, he had a few disciples, and when his successor, Hui Ke, the second patriarch, taught, he also had a few disciples, and the third patriarch, Sang Can, had one disciple. We only know of one disciple the third patriarch had, but his disciple, that one disciple, Dao Xin, he had 500. And so what happened when the fourth patriarch received the Dharma? How did he end up with 500 disciples? Because all these previous transmitters of Zen didn't have their own monastery. They lived sometimes in the mountains, you know, in a cave like Bodhidharma, or sometimes in somebody else's monastery like the third patriarch, Sang Can. He lived in another monastery. But the fourth patriarch created an agricultural commune. He got some land in the mountains in what we call, in English, a mountain basin. Not on a mountain slope, or on a mountain top, or the foot of the mountain, but in a place in the mountains that forms a basin. And so what he did is he created an agricultural commune. And the reason why this is so important for the development of Zen is because previous to this, Buddhists were forbidden to farm, and were also required to beg for a living. And this is the first time Buddhists worked for a living, and the reason they weren't able to farm is because when you farm, you're going to kill some bugs, some worms. And so Dao Xin said, we're going to farm. And what this did is it freed the group, the community. It made the community self-supporting, freed them from the need to beg. And it also, this was the beginning of vegetarianism in China. Buddhists, you know, there is no rule in Buddhism that you have to be a vegetarian. In fact, the Buddha died supposedly by eating some rotten meat, because when you put your bowl out there, you have to take what people put in it. And often you get meat. So this was the beginning of the practice of vegetarianism in China. And this is the importance of tofu. Before, the tofu had never played a major role in the Chinese diet, although it was begun by a Taoist, Huinanzi. Huinanzi is the Taoist. Huinanzi invented supposedly tofu in the 3rd century, and it had been around, but it never played a prominent role until this agricultural commune developed, started by Dao Xin, and his successor, Hongren, had 1,000 disciples, and his successor, the 6th patriarch, had 3,000. So what the key to Zen, the development of Zen in China, was the development of the agricultural commune. And the reason this is important is because Zen the word just means meditation. And of course, meditation is important, but so is your daily life. And by living and practicing together, your whole day becomes practice. You don't just practice in your meditation, on your meditation, and then go out in the street and walk around among people who are trying to make money, but you live among hundreds of people who are doing the same thing as you. And so this was the secret to the success of Zen in China, was the development of the agricultural commune. And the reason I know this is because I visited every important Zen monastery of the Tang Dynasty. And almost all of them are in the Gan River or the Xiang River watersheds. And this is where they discovered this agricultural niche called the high mountain basin. And every one of these monasteries is a high mountain basin, is built in a high mountain basin, where you can have hundreds and even thousands of disciples, and you're completely cut off from the world, but yet you're not dependent on the world. And they're able to live together as a commune and develop this sense where everything I'm doing is my practice. Before that, Zen is just sitting meditation. Well, suddenly, Zen became working in the fields Zen. Washing the dishes is Zen. This was the beginning of Zen in China. And that appealed to me more than Pure Land, because Pure Land requires a belief, whereas Zen requires no belief at all. It's all up to you. It's your own practice is your whole universe. Whereas in Pure Land, there's always something beyond you. There's the vow of Amitabha to create this paradise for you to come to be reborn in. But once you're reborn there, you're still going to have to go through that rebirth before you can become enlightened. So for me, the Pure Land Buddhism is more like Christianity, because it is based upon a belief of that which you cannot see. Whereas Zen Buddhism is based upon emptiness, on nothing, on non-duality. I always wondered at Huang, they have a big gate there called Buerman, the gate of non-duality. I remember my first week there, I asked, the monk was showing me this, gate of non-duality, and I said, well, why don't you just say the gate of oneness instead of non-duality? He said, oh, no, we can't do that. Because if you say the gate of oneness, there's always the not one. And then you have duality again. So that's sort of the underlying teaching of Zen, is just the realization of non-duality. Again, X and Y. X and Y are arbitrary distinctions. There is no X and Y, unless you want there to be one. And so Zen, this is the core message of Zen. It was my first insight into what transcendent understanding, was my X and Y experience. And I found a home for that in Zen. I didn't find a home for it in Pure Land Buddhism. So.
Do you do daily practice, daily Zen practice, meditation?
Oh, every day. I usually do it in the morning.
What do you do?
I meditate. I sit down. I have some cushions. I meditate, usually for about 40 minutes or so. I don't have a timer. I don't burn incense, so I never know. I just, whenever my legs begin to hurt, and usually it's after about 45 minutes, I just do meditation. Sometimes I use the meditation. I've often used meditation for solving translation problems when I'm doing Buddhist texts. I use the meditation like a koan. Like, what is the, people can use a huatuo or a koan to meditate on. Well, what I do when I'm translating, I just use that phrase that I don't know what it means, how to translate it. I'll use it like a koan. So sometimes I use my meditation for translation issues, but otherwise I'm just meditating on my breath.